In this video, we will go over another type of limit problems. This type will involve absolute value. And just to think about it, so if we have the absolute value of x, we will have like two piecewise. Category 1, nothing happens essentially. If x is greater than or equal to 0, you can simply have x. So let's say x is 1. If I put a 1 here, the absolute value of 1 is 1. Now for category 2, I put a negative in the front. This occurs for this type of problem when x is less than 0. And if you think about it, let's say x is negative 1. So the absolute value of negative 1 is 1, right? And so with this form, if I plug in a negative 1, I would also get 1. And so here I'm just reiterating the example, but instead I said x is 7. If it's 7, it's going to be a category 1. I put a 7 in here, I get positive 7. Category 1, I simply put a 7, I also get a 7. Now for negative 7, it's going to be like a category 2, because if I put a negative 7 here, I get a positive 7 because it's absolute value. And so in order for that to work, I can do this form, negative parentheses x, and that where x will be negative 7. So minus 7 would give us positive 7. So if you want, you can pause the video here and attempt this problem. So I would say first do piecewise regarding the absolute value. So I'm just going to look at this absolute value of x minus 3. And I will form, two piecewise, category 1 and category 2. So with category 1, this will be the same thing, x minus 3, no absolute value symbol. 4 when x is greater than or equal to 3. This is because if it is 3, you get 0. Here, you also get 0. How about 4? If you put a 4 here, you get 1. If you put a 4 here, you also get 1. Now for category 2, I put a negative parentheses x minus 3, and this occurs for x is less than 3. So with category 2, I can think, let's say x is going to be 2. If x is 2, I get 2 minus 3 is negative 1. The absolute value of negative 1 is positive 1. Likewise here, I have a negative in the front, parentheses 2 minus 3 would give us negative 1 times negative would give us positive 1. So now I have two limits. Limit of x approaches 3 from the left and limit of x approaches 3 from the right. From the left, I would use category 2 because it's 3 from the left. So it's not 3. It's like 2.999 repeating. Likewise, from the right, 3 plus, it's like 3.001. And so here I'm going to swap the absolute value sign of x minus 3 with this negative parentheses x minus 3 divided by the denominator x minus 3. So this would cancel and we would get negative 1. And now we try the right hand side. With the right hand side, it's a category 1, so I get x minus 3 divided by x minus 3, and so this becomes 1. And so if you note, so the left hand and the right hand, they're not the same. And because they're not the same, it's D&E. It does not exist. And so that is our final answer. Now, had they been equal, like let's say this was a negative 1 and then this was a negative 1, and then our answer would be a negative 1. But because they are different, we say it's D&E. And that's all we need to do for this type of problem.